that almost makes up for the Fail Marion NFC Championship game. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't let a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Just kidding. Nothing will ever heal those wounds. Grossi. And today we are going to be talking and breaking down the Green Bay Packers win over the Seattle Seahawks with a score of 30-13. And there's a good amount to talk about with this game. First of all, a huge shout out to this Packers defense, which besides some terrible tackling on the only touchdown they gave up tonight against Zach Charbonnet, they were flawless. I mean, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions. Edgerrin Cooper, good God, not only led the team in tackles, he had multiple tackles for a loss. He had an interception. He was sorely missed on that defense. And we had a couple of returning players here. It was Edgerrin Cooper for the defense. We also had Romeo Doubs, who came back, who had 2 touchdowns tonight, including a spectacular touchdown grab. And this was a pretty damn great win for the Packers. A win that both organizations really needed. The Packers just to keep pace within the NFC, and the Seahawks needed a win to keep pace in the NFC West with the Rams. The Rams now, with a Seahawks loss, remain in first place in the West, which is still pretty damn open. But as of right now, for the Packers, things are looking pretty damn good as they reach 10 wins this season. Looking at that first quarter, a score on the opening drive with Josh Jacobs getting in there, followed by a touchdown on their second drive, and that's how the Packers need to start out these games. 14 points in the first quarter kind of gave them that cushion that they never really let up for the remainder of the game, and that allowed the Packers to play the kind of game that they wanted. Jordan Love, really good night. 20 for 27, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, was sacked 0 times. And while Love missed a couple of throws, he also made some phenomenal throws. We talked about that Romeo Doubs touchdown, Christian Watson on the sideline. It was a perfect throw from Jordan Love and a great catch by Watson. And it just seemed like, especially in that first half, things were clicking, especially with Josh Jacobs, who went 26 for 94 and had a touchdown tonight. Also 4 receptions for 42 yards. Unfortunately, had a fumble, which was a bit of a momentum shift for a hot second for the Seahawks. That's how they were able to score their touchdown. But overall, a really nice night for the ground game. And going back to Jordan Love for a hot second, this was his 4th week in a row without a turnover, which, Toyotathon Jordan Love has been playing really damn well, and you saw it with the receivers as well. Watson, 3 for 56, was our top receiver, and Romeo Doubs, welcome back. 3 for 40 with 2 touchdowns, and like I said, that touchdown grab in the back of the end zone was absolutely sensational. And so you got to give a lot of props to Romeo Doubs. I know Christian Watson got a little bit banged up on that final play, but then he was sitting on the bench and he seems fine. So that is good. And looking at our defense, I already mentioned that pass rush, which has been better these past couple weeks, going off against a bad offensive line in the Seattle Seahawks. 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 from Cooper, 1 from Valentine. That was his first career interception, and he had dropped one earlier on that drive. So awesome to see him get a shot there. On top of that, Jair Alexander, of course, didn't play this week. The Packers are definitely missing him, but they were able to do pretty damn well in his absence. And taking a look at the Seahawks, Geno Smith went 15 for 19, 149 yards, was sacked 3 times and had an interception. Unfortunately, went out in this game with an injury. Edgerrin Cooper went for a tackle. And looking at that play, Edgerrin Cooper missed that tackle, which thankfully he did because he was falling forward, so that could have been catastrophic. And Mike McDonald did say a little while ago in the press conference that it seems structurally there are no problems with Geno Smith, so that is some good news because the Seahawks are going to need to rely on him if they are going to try to make the postseason. Because when Sam Howell came in, it was not good. Went 5 for 14, 24 yards, and also had an interception. Also got sacked 4 times, and the Packers pass rush was causing pandemonium in that backfield. They got pressure on nearly 40% of snaps, which is outrageous. On top of that, they held the Seahawks to 80 total rushing yards. JSN was their leading receiver, 10 catches for over 80 yards. And the Packers defense, I could not be happier with this evening. Yes, there's Matt LaFleur play calls and challenges, which, by the way, if you're keeping track at home, Matt LaFleur is 0 for 6 on challenges this season, which is just infuriating. infuriating. And when they went for it on fourth down, they handed it off out of shotgun up the middle again. And besides those very frustrating play calls, overall, there's not really a lot to pick apart from this Packers game where you would actually be upset. The defense played really well. The offense played mistake-free football besides the Josh Jacobs fumble. And overall, the Packers are sitting at 10 wins, and they are in a prime position to clinch a playoff spot next week against the Saints. Now, I will say, the one big downside is, unfortunately, with our win, the purple incarnation of Satan, the Minnesota Vikings, have also clinched a playoff spot. There still is an outwards chance to clinch the division for the Packers, but they're going to need the Lions to lose a few more games, which I don't think they are going to do. We'll see what that Vikings-Lions game is going to look like in Week 18. But overall, super happy night because the home teams have been dominating the last times the Packers and the Seahawks have played. And thankfully, the Packers were able to break that streak after losing to the Lions on Thursday Night Football a week back. This was a really nice change of pace. The game never really got away from them. At most, it was a 2-score game. And the Packers are in great shape going back to Lambeau Field on Monday night against the Saints. And like I've been saying, they just got to get to the dance. And from there, I think they've shown that they can go toe-to-toe with any team. I'd like them to be able to close out games a little bit earlier so my stress levels can go down. But overall, Packers get a big-time win over a rival, and I could not be happier. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. How did you feel about this game? Again, the most important thing for the Seahawks is that Geno Smith gets healthy. Hopefully he is good to go. But for the Packers, 30-13, got 10 wins on the season. And let's see if we can clinch the playoffs next week. But let me know what you think. You know, I saw me at TomGrossiComedy.com or Tom Grossi Comedy, all social media, see down below. A big shout out and thank you to all the Patreon and YouTube members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack, go.